New updated ways of media and expression in the 20s impacted society greatly in countless different ways. Many people did not feel as restricted by old societal traditional norms as much as previous generations, which led to more open expression of self and culture. It was okay to some to act free and easy in a way. That is where the Charleston form of dancing comes into play. This dance was very different to previous dancing in America. Dancing was typically much slower and subdued in the past because it was more appropriate. Jazz music is also an example of society's willingness to loosen up in a sense. Jazz could be seen as less structured and more improvised. People played from their soul in the moment and just had fun doing it. That's how I see the modernization of America in the 20s. People, in a sense, stopped holding on to the past and enjoyed the fast-paced environment of the present. Women were being given more opportunities, and they found ways to celebrate this new sliver of freedom through different art forms, such as dancing, as the flappers demonstrated. African Americans were beginning to have a larger footprint in society as well, and jazz was an expression of freedom in style and purpose. People of color and women started to feel more included in society, as I was explaining, and America inched towards more equality overall. No matter what happened in the decades prior, and regardless of what the future held, the 20s was a time to enjoy living in a more expressive and open manner for the Americans who are able to enjoy it. Radio broadcasts also were an important part and impacted society greatly by establishing a faster way to consume information and entertainment. Early in the decade, radio was more for public service first and mostly consisted of news and world affairs. So that's where the spreading information comes in. When advertisements were introduced to the radio later in the decade, this portion of the decade, the radio consisted more of different types of broadcasts. People could listen to religious sermons or even concerts in the convenience of their home, and it became routine for families to even block out sections of the day for radio, which sounds crazy now. Additionally, while listening, people were exposed to a barrage of advertisements, creating a sort of consumer culture, as we read in our book. America in the 20s valued products much more than previous decades did. And radio nationalized product publicity, aiding in the expansion of many big companies. People across the nation began feeling more connected through the information heard on the radio, through advertisements and broadcasts. There can be connections made between today and the 20s. It appears that the society we live in today is enamored with pop culture, just as it seemed like the 20s was roaring, in a sense. This is a misconception of many, I think. I would argue that the majority of people do not like today's pop culture, rather just are addicted to it. And why are we so addicted to something we do not even really truly like then? Why am I even mentioning this at all? Well, I believe America is driven by a certain form of consumer culture today. This consumer culture is how we connect to the 20s. Just as the radio did back then, social media and the internet in general spread information faster than ever. Everyone in America consumes similar information and advertisements, creating a nationalized desire for new and improved products and constant forms of entertainment. This is not so far off the culture the 20s was popularizing. While this seems kind of negative in tone while I say it, I really do not think that the 20s and 20 are bad. I think they're actually progressive, and they evolve society in a good way. The more we openly express our emotions and desires, the more truthful we are being to ourselves and to the world. It's necessary to progress society in forward-thinking or modern perspectives because the future always has the potential to be greater than the past. Even if America angers traditionalists by modernizing, it's worth it, just as it was back in the 20s, because evolution is the key to progressively improving society. What I'm saying is that we need to be thinking in more modern and progressive ways to have the potential to be better overall, or because being a traditionalist or wanting to stay the way it is, it kind of limits your potential in a way. And for the second question, there are so many important celebrities who use their platform to be vocal activists in American society. It is one of the things I actually am most proud about in society today, that there are countless celebrities who feel courageous and passionate about activism. I especially am proud of all the powerful and important women living in America this very moment. It's really hard to just pick out one for this question, but to highlight just one of the celebrities who does an awesome job in this respect. Lady Gaga, while controversial, she embodies what is good in American society, specifically American pop culture. She has made a name as a talented musician, but even more importantly, she has committed to social activism to bring awareness to many vital issues in this country. Her voice is one that many people will hear, so it's admirable that she uses her fame to promote women empowerment, mental health awareness, the anti-bullying movement, and the LGBTQ equality movement, and among many other things she has promoted. She fights for all of these things because they should matter to everyone in America and the world in general. And these subjects, these subsets of people are commonly marginalized or discriminated against. So it's important to bring awareness to that. So this reminds me of Josephine Baker, who used her popularity to fight for equality for women and people of color. Baker and Lady Gaga do not waste their time and energy focusing on the hate of the people who resist social movements. These two women are strong examples of why celebrities can be integral to social improvements. I think it can be a really good thing for America when celebrities use their platform to promote things that should be promoted. It kind of fighting the good fight. I think the more we do that, the better. Obviously, it can be detrimental to society when these celebrities use their platform to promote things that should not be promoted, such as the anti-vaccination movement, for one example. Some celebrities have been promoting that, and obviously that's not something we want to be promoting for the sake of everyone. But regardless of the downside of this celebrity social activism, the upside is worth all of the downside. This is evident in the important causes being promoted in today's celebrity scene, such as the Me Too movement and the Black Lives Matter movement.